Over the last 3 years, I've had a wonderful opportunity to talk to thousands of Mainers and answer all sorts of questions. We're going to dig into viewer mail next on Clearing the Air. I'm Thorn Dickinson. I am excited about sharing with you authentic conversations from Mainers throughout the state about the value this project delivers. We've produced 9 episodes of Clearing the Air, and I thought it was a perfect time to take a pause, look at some of the feedback we've received, some of the questions, and deal with them head on. Is the power going to Massachusetts? So the simple answer is no. If you look on a map associated with this project, the power gets distributed right here in Lewiston, Maine. Now that power, because it's connected to a grid serving all New England, goes to all New England. Now who's paying for it is a totally different question. Massachusetts is paying 100% of this project, not a penny of it's paid for by Maine. One of the common comments that I received even after explaining the dynamics of the New England grid was, why shouldn't there just be an agreement just for Maine? And just last week, the governor announced a new agreement with Hydro-Quebec to use some of the surplus capacity associated with this project to deliver low-priced renewable energy for Maine. Fragmenting Maine's northern forest will cause irreparable harm to wildlife and change forever the natural landscape. Well, this was a major focus of the Department of Environmental Protection, along with a number of other issues that went through more than 3 years of testimony from experts in different areas. In the end, the Department of Environmental Protection shrunk the new corridor by more than 2/3. Again, remember that most of this corridor is already along an existing transmission right-of-way, and the new part of the corridor goes through an industrial forest that has been heavily logged for decades. All right, on to a comment from the Broadband episodes that we did about the benefits this project has associated with broadband. And this person says, the broadband is not worth the destruction to Maine's pristine wilderness. Well, I'm incredibly proud, and I think the outcome of the Department of Environmental Protection case shows that this project has been carefully laid out to utilize most of it along existing corridors where there's already a transmission line, and the new corridor to go through an area from logging companies that is heavily logged, really an industrial forest, not pristine woods. Another question that came in: how do you think the issues that CMP has faced in the last few years in Maine has impacted the perception of the project? I think it's had a major impact. In the town meetings that I've been in, it's often one of the #1 things that come out is, how can we trust this project, because we've lost some faith in CMP. And I think the company has taken great strides. I know the hardworking people at CMP, and I know how hard they are trying to rebuild that trust throughout the state. And one of the big step forwards there was moving this project out of CMP to NECC, its own separate company, and bringing back David Flanagan as the executive chairman. And I've seen over these last few months really positive step forwards by the company. What do you say about the opponents of the project? Well, I think when we think about the opponents, we can't just think of one category. And I think really there are some grassroots people in Maine, hardworking, diligent Mainers. I really think that the fossil fuel industry is playing a significant role in this, and that's a different group of opposition. But for the real Mainers, they've just been an amazing group of people to get to know, even people that oppose the project. In fact, one of my favorite weekends was going on a long snowmobile ride, my wife and I, with another couple who is vehemently opposed to the project, just to get to know each other. So looking at our YouTube comments, one of the commenters called me a smarmy shill. Now, to be honest, I had to actually go to the dictionary to make sure I understood both words, but in the end, smarmy meant condescending, and shill is somebody that believes something that isn't true on behalf of their company. And one of the most important things to me at the outset of this project is to be genuine and authentic with people every time I meet them, in the towns, face to face, and everything I could do. And hopefully I've demonstrated this, whether it's through these episodes or through those conversations with good Mainers throughout the state. What have you learned about Maine by advocating for this project? That's a great question. I think one of the big things that I've learned is that It's a small enough state where you can get out there and engage with people throughout the state and provide direct dialogue. And I think also, if we could come together on specific challenges that we're facing, whether they're state, regional, or global, we can really accomplish things. I think that's one of the biggest things that I've learned in traveling throughout the state. You have an opportunity to go back in time. What's the one thing that you would do different on this project? Well, I think for me, looking at this project, the benefits of it were always so clear to me. And I was incredibly happy to be able to develop a project that would have so many benefits for people in Maine. So I was extremely surprised at all the pushback. Now, when I look at what happened and some of the things that have resulted from that is that CMP had some challenges, some things that they're continuing to work through. But the biggest thing is we have fossil fuel generators that are going to be negatively impacted as a result of this project, maybe $3 million a day in lower revenues that are here. I was not expecting them to show up in the state, to fund a lot of dark money, to not disclose what they were doing behind the scenes. But now that I look back on it, I realize this is a track record that they have all over the country in order to disrupt these kind of projects that have a negative impact on their bottom line. Your goal was to talk to all 1,329,328 Mainers about the project. How far along are you on that effort? Well, that's a great question. I mean, I tried to add up all the places I've been throughout the state and the thousands of people that I've met. It was pretty challenging, but in the end, it's why I go on the radio, it's why I developed this show, was again, to get that goal of getting to every single Mainer in the state. Describe with 3 words, NECC. I would say great for Maine. Who was one of the most interesting people you've met on this project? Well, without a doubt, it's Joe Christopher, and he was featured on one of the past episodes of Clearing the Air. A great friend, a great entrepreneur here in Maine, and a true force of nature. What keeps you going and fighting every single day for years now? A lot of people would think that it was about what I'm paid, but the reality is I care about this project and I want to be out there showing people how much benefit this provides for the state. How does your family feel about the project and your role in it? Well, it may not surprise you that my family is supportive of the project. My wife has been incredibly patient. I've been very busy in this 3-year period of time. She's had to withstand some long meetings that I've been in with her by my side, which has been great. So then for my mother, it's given us an opportunity to talk a lot about her roots in Maine and Greenville, some of her friends that still live in the state. Of course, she's incredibly protective of me, but very proud. In fact, one of the episodes, she posts them all on her Facebook page. She said, "So proud of my son." And the comments on her Facebook tend to be a little bit more positive. One of my favorites was from one of her friends that said, "Ruth, what a handsome, articulate, and dedicated man. Good job." So obviously, I really like that comment. I really enjoyed reading all the comments and questions that came in and sharing my responses with you, and I look forward to doing that again in future episodes of Clearing the Air.